Hello everyone, and today we're going to broach the subject of visas in Spain, obtaining residency for those people who need to spend more than the off the peg 90 days in every 180-day rule, which you may be familiar with in Spain. We're going to go into that in a little bit. So we're going to go across the three main visas that are required, that are available, I should say, to those coming from the UK or outside the EU who want to spend a longer term in Spain. And to help me and us guide us through these different options, I'm joined today by Alex Radford from My Lawyer in Spain. Good afternoon, Alex.
Hi there, Paul. How are you doing?
I'm doing very, very well, thank you. Yes, you've helped a lot of our customers over the last few years navigate the post-Brexit situation with obtaining the right paperwork for residency. So yeah, but tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, so we've got a dedicated visa and residency team who can help clients move from home country to Spain. And you're right, there's various types of visa, and each visa will suit a certain person, depending, for example, whether they want to work or not. But the general principle, Paul, is if you want to spend more than 90 days in a 180-day period in Spain, then you need a visa.
Okay, yeah, and just recapping on the night before we move on to the visas, the 90 days in every 180 days. Sometimes there's a bit of confusion about how that works. That it's actually a rolling calendar, right? That's your you can spend 90 days within the Schengen area, not just Spain. I think that's an important point, right?
Exactly, yeah. And also bear in mind the Spanish tax year runs from January to December. So if you arrived on the 1st of January of this year, then you will become a Spanish tax resident. But for example, if you arrived on the 1st of August of this year, then you would not become a tax resident because you haven't spent more than 183 days in Spain. And of course, if you're coming out to Spain on trips to view properties or to prepare the way for your move, those days are included in that 183 days. So planning when to arrive is important, because that can have an impact on taxes that you may have to pay in Spain.
And planning on when to apply for the right visas as well is another thing to consider, which probably neatly brings us on to the first visa, which is the most common one that we're setting our clients up with, particularly those looking to retire to Spain, and that's the non-lucrative visa. So yeah, tell us about that. Who is that for?
Yeah, mainly, Paul, that's the non-lucrative visa is for non-Europeans. So if any listener has got a spouse who's got an EU passport, then that EU passport holder can apply for residency, get residency, and the spouse can piggyback off that application. But the non-lucrative visa is for those non-Europeans, so anyone living outside the EU. Of course, that includes the British people now, and you have to apply for a visa to be able to spend more than 90 days in 180 days in Spain. Where do you apply for that? You apply for that from the Spanish consulate in your home country. And they'll ask for a series of documentation. They'll want a Spanish address, an address in your home country, private or public medical insurance, depending on your age. So, for example, if you're of retirement age and there's an agreement between your country and Spain, then the public insurance may be sufficient. We'll also require a clean criminal record certificate, a medical certificate from your doctor saying that you don't suffer from any nasty World Health Organization illnesses, and then the financial resources, Paul. And the financial resources, by and large, for an individual, you're looking at about 28,800 euros. And then if it's a married couple, then it's 35,900 euros. And if it's a family of four, so you've got a couple of dependents there, a couple of children, then it's 50,000 euros, 388 euros. But what you've got to bear in mind with the non-lucrative visa, you're retiring to Spain. You're not allowed to work.
Just on the financials on that, the amounts that are required, that can be a combination of income via pension, for example, savings in the bank. It doesn't need to be all of one or all of the other, does it? It's a total picture that the Spanish authorities want to see, that you've got either income or a lump sum or a combination of both that adds up to at least that amount, right?
Exactly. So a combination of income from pensions, rental income from any properties that the clients may have, and savings, but not salary.
Okay. So how about this for a scenario? We have a couple that want to retire to Spain, haven't yet found their property in Spain, but planning to come out soon to do that. At what point should the application go in for the non-lucrative visa? Bearing in mind, understanding, there can be a bit of a wait in order to get the actual appointment. Is that right?
Yeah. So generally, I would say it takes about a month to collate all the documents, because a lot of these documents, for example, marriage certificate, we need a duplicate marriage certificate, and that needs to be legalized. The same with the doctor's certificate, the criminal record certificate, the same. So by and large, it takes about a month to collate the documents. And depending on how busy the Spanish consulates are, it could take anywhere between 2 and 4 weeks to get the appointment. And then once you've got the appointment, again, depending on how busy the consulates are, some of them hold on to your passport, some of them don't. But you ask them, you let them know when you want to move to Spain, so the date of when you're intending to go, come to Spain, and they will grant it the visa, stamp the visa in your passport from that date onwards. And typically we're getting those back in about 3 to 4 weeks' time. Start to finish, up to 3 months, Paul.
Okay. And once the visa has been approved from the UK side of things, or from your home country, if it's not the UK, you have a window in which you need to get to Spain to collect your residency card. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. So you've got to come to Spain, typically within 30 days of the date of the visa. And when you come to Spain, you've got to apply for your TIE, not to be confused with the NIE. The NIE is the Spanish tax number that you'll need to open a bank account, pay taxes in Spain, buy a car, etc. The TIE is the foreigner's identification card, which is issued by the police station. So again, we would helping clients put all the documentation together. Presentation is very important when it comes to the Spanish consulate, explaining the documentation, setting out basically a statement of why you're moving to Spain, the monies that you're going to rely on to live on, etc., the documents that you've got. We prepare that documentation for the clients. They go along to the appointment, and then when they come out to Spain, we'll arrange the appointments at the police station for them as well and get their TIE card.
Okay. And so this visa is issued for 1 year. Am I right? So talk us through what happens as we get towards the end of the first year, and we're loving our life in Spain and want to stay there.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, the non-lucrative visa issued at the Spanish consulate in your home country for 1 year. And then the renewals actually take place in Spain before your local police station or foreigners department. And each renewal is for 2 years. And after the second renewal, so when you've had 5 years in Spain, then you can apply for long-term residency. And all the terms and conditions and requirements, Paul, that we set out in the original application, for example, private medical insurance or public insurance, monies in a bank account, all that has to remain in place for the 5-year period. So if your financial circumstances change after a year, then you may not be entitled to that renewal. So it's important that clients are aware that it's basically a year visa and then a 2-year visa. And when they look at the 2 years for the renewal, they want to see that you've still got X amount of money in your bank account, or the income is coming in. They don't need to see 2 years of monies up front, but they want to see that proof of that those monies will come in, and you won't be a burden on the Spanish state.
And correct me if I'm wrong, they'll also want to see that you have actually been living in Spain during that period.
Yes, exactly. So So in effect, we talked about it. The Spanish tax year runs from January to December. And once you spend more than 183 nights in Spain, then you become a Spanish tax resident. And in effect, for the renewals, you've got to spend more than 180 nights in Spain. So you can see the Spanish authorities want you to become a Spanish tax resident.
Okay, that makes sense. So in terms of what do you do for customers? So obviously I put my customers in touch with you in order to arrange these visas, but perhaps you could detail, how do you prepare?
Yeah, so first of all, we've got great experience in helping clients with the visas and the TIE card when they come to Spain. Native English-speaking staff. We deal with the whole process from start to finish, including completing the official forms on behalf of the clients for this consulate and also for the TIE card. And then we can advise you what documents to provide and pre-check everything prior to your appointment at the Spanish consulate. And that pre-checking, Paul, is really quite important, because you can't just kind of turn up and say, "Oh, I've got that somewhere, but I haven't got it now. I'll get it to you." No, you've got to have everything ready for that appointment at the Spanish consulate. And also we'll help you prioritize the documents that you need, so they're not out of date for the appointment with the Spanish consulate.
Fantastic. So in terms of the buying process, what I've been doing with my customers is before we're even arranging for them to come out on the viewing trips, which is the method in which we find properties for our customers and help them get set up on the Spanish side, is to get them in touch with you guys ahead of time so that you can agree the timeline, start collating the documents, and get all the ducks in a row, as it were.
Exactly. And you know, we've got great experience in this area. So, for example, financial resources coming in, looking at bank accounts. The Spanish consulate doesn't want to see that you're earning any money, because you're retiring to Spain. So they want to see pension. They want to see income from rental properties. They want to see savings. So it's important that your financial information is presented clearly, so that clearly and simply, so that the Spanish authorities looking at it can say, yeah, that's fine, you qualify, you've got enough money, off you go, there's your visa.
Fantastic. So that's the non-lucrative visa. And so just to recap, that is the main one that will find our customers who are retiring to Spain or planning to move and not working will use. The second one I'd like to talk about today is the golden visa in Spain. Tell us a bit about the golden visa and who would that apply for and how would one qualify for that?
Okay, so talking about the golden visa, basically anyone who purchased a property after the 27th of September 2013 in their name only, one or various properties, to a value of more than 500,000 euros, then they can apply for the golden visa. Okay, so anyone buying a property now, 500,000 euros, you'll get the golden visa. If a couple before purchased a property for 500,000, but it's in joint names, they can't apply for the golden visa. It has to be in one name only, and it can be one property or a series of properties. Or what clients can do is they can actually lodge monies in a Spanish bank account or invest in companies, and that then goes up to €1 million. Okay, but generally speaking, if clients want the golden visa, then they basically buy a property or properties for more than 500,000 euros, and that entitles them to live in Spain for more than 90 days. But also, unlike the non-lucrative visa, it allows them to work in Spain too.
And am I right, said also no obligation to remain in Spain for the whole year? You can come for one day or the whole year, or you can stay as long as you keep the asset in Spain, and as long as you're covered with medical insurance, you can stay in Spain as long as you keep the asset. Exactly.
And unlike the non-lucrative visa, the golden visa, this was an update on the 28th of December 2022. When the golden visa, we would always recommend that the golden visa is applied for from here in Spain. So we would prepare the documentation, submit it online, and then typically we're getting the responses back in a week or 2 weeks, and that's your golden visa. And the golden visa now is being granted for a period of 3 years, whereas it used to be granted for just 1 year or 2 years. 1 year if you applied for it from your home country, 2 years if you applied for it from Spain. But as I said, as of December 2022, you'll get the golden visa for 3 years.
And after the 3 years, you just need to show you've still got the asset, and you can renew.
Yeah, and it's very important to bear in mind you can't have a mortgage over that asset. So you've got to have 500,000 euros clear of debts. Okay, and the documentation, proof of ownership of the property, private medical insurance or the public insurance if you're of retirement age, the medical certificate with specific wording, clean criminal record certificate. We'll apply for a Spanish land registry investment certificate confirming that you've made that investment. And the financial resources here, basically, you're looking at 2,400 euros a month, right? Or savings totaling approximately 43,200 euros. So they want to see that you've got, in effect, 18 months worth of financial resources available for the golden visa, because it's granted for a 3-year period.
And you touched on it before, so it needs to be in the name of one person, because otherwise, the Spanish, for example, if your property is 500,000 and the property is in 2 names, the authorities would see that as 250,000 each has been invested. So hence why it's important to do in one name. But who can come in on that visa? So is it immediate family, wife, husband?
Exactly. Yeah, so basically, it's important as well that the main applicant is the person that's got the financial resources, so they can show that they're actually earning monies. Okay, so the financial resources for the golden visa at the moment, and this gets updated on an annual basis, is 2,400 euros per month, 43,200 euros for 18 months. A married couple, you're looking at 54,000 euros, and a family for 75,600 euros. But you're right. Once the main applicant has got the golden visa, then the spouse and the children or dependents under the age of 18 or proof that they are dependent can apply for the visa too.
And elderly parents as well, if you have parents that are if they're dependent upon you.
Yes, you have to prove dependency, Paul.
Yeah, okay, that's important to know. So yeah, there's been a lot of interest in that, and particularly in the since it's come to, like, you don't have to put that all in one property. For example, we'll have customers who'll spend 350,000 on a family home, and then 150,000 on an apartment, which they'll use to get some rental income, and that's can be quite an interesting option as well if you don't want to or need to spend 500,000 on a single property or more, of course.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. So we're acting with clients at the moment. They're buying a property about 370,000, and then an apartment for about 150. And their plan is to rent the apartment out July and August, get some money in the summer months, and then use it for the rest of the year. And basically they're buying it in 2 locations. So they're going for a kind of rural, their home property, the main residence, and then the town, kind of the apartment to have some fun at the weekends in cities around Spain.
Sounds like an ideal setup to me. That's good. Okay, so that's the golden visa. So again, you're going to help clients prepare for that, get their paperwork in order, and from our side, from the process of helping a customer to find their property, we're going to get them in touch with you as early as possible to start collating that. So the third one is a really interesting one, which seems to be gathering a lot of momentum and a lot of interest, and that's the digital nomad visa. So this is the third and final one. Tell us about the digital nomad visa and who's it for?
So basically, the digital nomad visa came out 28th of December 2022, and this is basically focused on anybody who can prove that they're working for a company located outside of Spain, that they're employed or they are a professional person carrying out professional services for a company. So, for example, a lawyer could work in Spain and work for their clients based outside of Spain. You've got to prove that you've been that your employer has been in business for more than 12 months and that you had a relationship with them for more than 3 months, right? But and you would need a letter from them confirming that they authorize you to basically work in Spain, work from Spain. And then for the professionals, there's a little bit of flexibility there in that you can actually bill companies based in Spain up to 20% of your earnings. Okay, so you're looking at people who are allowed to work in Spain for overseas companies, and you can be employed, and you will basically your company will continue to pay your national insurance contributions in your home country, and then you can apply to pay tax here in Spain. And the beauty, Paul, of the tax side is that you can basically apply for a discounted tax regime, and you'll pay 24% tax on your income.
Yeah, this has been the key point that seems to be attracting people. I make no bones about it. The digital nomad visa was created by Spain in order to attract talent to Spain who are perhaps higher than average earners who are going to start paying tax there. So they're giving them a few tax breaks and making the process very straightforward, it seems.
Yeah, exactly. But there has been some confusion on the tax side, because if you come to Spain and just start working and don't register for this discounted regime, then you'll pay normal tax rates. So it's important that you do actually register for the discounted tax regime. But yeah, we've got applications going through at the moment. It's a new law, so it is evolving. So the requirements, I think, they'll tinker with them as we deal with them. You've got to prove that basically, you've got a contractual relationship with that company, and the visa is granted for an initial period of 3 years, or for the duration of that contract. So if you had a 2-year contract, it would be granted for 2 years. And then your dependents and spouses can also work, but they've got to work for overseas companies too. So they wouldn't be able to come here and start working for a Spanish company.
So in the setup of, let's say, one partner is eligible for the Nomad visa and is allowed to work from home and is okay. The partner, if let's say wasn't planning to work, can they come in on that, or would that be a separate non-lucrative visa application? So basically, Spain really favors married couples, either same-sex couples or otherwise. So you'd have to be married or in a civil partnership. But you're right, the main applicant can apply for the digital nomad visa, and then the spouse can benefit from that as well, as can the dependents. Okay, that's great. So what can we do if somebody wants to find out more about this? We can get them in touch with you. How can they get in touch with you, Alex?
Yeah, just on the financial requirements on the Nomad visa. You need a clean criminal record certificate. You'll need private medical insurance as well, or if there's an arrangement between your home country and Spain, then public insurance may do. But you've also got to prove that you've got gross earnings of at least €2,333 a month. Okay, and then that goes up if you've got a spouse, it goes up by €974, and if you've got children, it goes up by €291 a month. Okay, so they're looking at minimum basic gross salary for one person of €2,333. Okay, and then so if you can prove that you're earning that income, you've got the clean criminal record certificate, your company authorizes you to work from Spain, and that there's sufficient IT systems in place, then you can apply for that digital nomad visa. How to contact us? Basically, inquiries at mylawyerinspain.com. We have a sister website, Paul, that specializes in visas as well. That's legalservicesinspain.com. But the two companies work very closely together, and basically same staff. The residency team are based in our Marbella office, and we act for clients applying for residency all over Spain. But in our other offices in Javier and Ciudad Quesada, clients can pop into the office there and talk to our staff there about buying, selling, inheriting property, and also applying for their visas.
And I'd just like to add to that, you can also contact myself as well, at paul@masainternational.com, or one of the telephone numbers on the screen. And I'll help slot your visa application and your contact with Alex and his team into the timeline for your move to Spain. So that would involve viewing trips, which we can arrange for you to get out of Spain, show you around the area. Of course, it's important that we find the right place for you. We can send you property information as well. So feel free to get in touch if you have any questions about visas, properties, how to move to Spain. That's what we do. And I just want to thank you very much, Alex, for today. It's really great to clear through that, and very encouraging that these mechanisms are now in place to make the move to Spain still very much possible as it ever was.
Absolutely. I think it's Spain is making it easier for people to move to Spain now. Yes, there are financial requirements in place, but some careful planning and tax advice, I think there's great opportunities there. And depending on the area in Spain you move to, it's, as you know, the quality of life, it's much cheaper to some northern European countries.
Yep, that's that. We don't need any convincing on that, sure. Thanks very much for your time, Alex, and we're going to catch up with you soon and pick your brains on other legal matters soon.
Okay, thank you very much, Paul.
Take care.